and today's topic is comfort.
I do not care how many exquisite objects you put in a room. If it's not warm and comfortable, no one wants to be there. Matthias Rains McGrath. Well, let me dilute it right away, because the understanding of comfort is vastly different from human to human, and you are creating comfortable home for yourself, for God's sake, not for everyone in this world. So listen what your intentions are. For example, a hardcore minimalist can be content in a beautiful room with one structural chair, like we can see in this photo. This is a famous architect minimalist, John Pawson, in his living room. On the opposite spectrum of the design world, we can find a maximalist, and one will want color and pattern and stuff, and then some more of it. Like on this photo, designed by fabulous Mario Boata, you can see an abundance of visual entertainment. The photo was taken from the Architectural Digest website. So this is why it is so important, if you are searching for a professional to help you create a beautiful and comfortable home, to find a person whose thoughts and whose understanding and living speaks to you, and whose ideas and the body of work represent a vision that is close to yours. If you are not hiring, and basically in either way, hiring or not hiring, you need to learn to think about it. So the topic of comfort is a bit too big, right? So even in a very small adobe, you can have multiple areas. So what is comfort in a living room, in a kitchen, in a bedroom, in a powder room? What is it? So instead of giving you incomplete recipes, let's try and learn how to think on a topic and what questions to ask. The word itself, comfort, comes from the Latin word fortis, which means strong. So presumably, the comfortable space will have restorative powers. The one will feel safe and relaxed in such an environment. So let's try and create a comfortable living room. So first of all, you have to ask some questions. In my understanding of creating a comfortable space, one has to tackle 4 aspects of it, right? So one has to answer 4 questions. What is the functionality of the room? How to create ambience, needed ambience for that particular task? You have to address sound, and sadly, budget. It's always there. We need to respect it. Functionality goes hand to hand with convenience. And no, convenience is not the same that comfort is. They are working with each other, but convenience is a part of a bigger word, comfort. So back to functionality. What are intended purposes of this room? Say, if this living room is for you to sit in solitude and meditate, then maybe the photo, the scenario from the photo from before would be just perfect, because it was a room with one perch and a view. It will work, right? But if the scenario is a little bit more complex, say we have another living room, and in that living room, on a day-to-day life, you use it as for TV viewing and to play maybe games, and maybe to cuddle with the family. So then, so this kind of purpose, so we will just remember where we were. So day-to-day life at TV room with blankets and games and stuff. But maybe you also want comfortably spend time with your friends from time to time. So you want to entertain in this room. So what type of entertaining then? Let's dive further. So what is your idea of entertaining? Is it maybe a teenage sleepover with pizza? Maybe you want watch sports with your friends and beer. Maybe you want to host a cocktail party with bartender, or maybe it's a soiree. So what is your idea of entertainment? And then you got that down. Then how many people? How many people would be simultaneously in the space? How many need to be able to find a seat? Do you serve food? How do you serve food? Where? Do you allow people to wander in a space with their drinks? If so, do they have a place to put a drink down? All these kind of questions will help you to design your groups of furnishings that you will need for your intended task. So next aspect of functionality would be maintenance. What is your maintenance tolerances? And please notice, I didn't say goals, I said tolerances, because we all have a very noble, simple goal to live in the maintenance-free home, but not gonna happen. Sad but true, not gonna happen. So what are your tolerances? Do you freak out when somebody spills a red wine on your carpet? Is that stone is too precious to put a pizza down? Would you allow guests on the hills to walk around? So all of that needs to be answered to make conscious decisions about what finishes, how much pattern to hide maybe accidental spills and stuff like that. So maybe colors, maybe we have to address colors. Are your fabulous dark floors show every speckle of dust? So after you answer all of those questions, it's time to move to storage and help appliances. I don't know. Maybe you need a wine dispenser, a champagne dispenser. Maybe you need a coffee machine. Maybe you need blankets and games. Day-to-day basis, you definitely need you definitely need those. But basically, try to think on what should be under your fingertips in this particular room, so you are relaxed and comfortable and not stressing and running around and serving food. How you gonna collect dirty dishes? All of those need to be written down and addressed. So next aspect of the designing comfortable space, so we tackled functionality, right? So next aspect would be to think ambience, the feast for the eyes. So are you capitalizing on what room has to offer? Maybe there is fireplace, maybe there are views, maybe there is easy access to an outdoors, maybe there are fabulous trees, maybe it's just gorgeous architecturally. Anyway, you kind of need to capitalize on those, and then you need to provide enough entertainment for eyes, because human eye needs to be entertained. We tend to just wander from object to just maybe subconsciously finding some patterns or just seeking some pleasure here and there. If room is too plain, people tend to get nervous. If room is way too busy, then it would be distractive for a normal conversation. So provide the feast for the eyes, but not too much. Are you able to control temperature and sunlight? Because depending on the purposes of the room, of course, you might need to be able to shut that window down so you can see the TV. Or is the room warm enough? Do you have means to provide fresh air? Because that should be here in abundance. So those aspects of ambience are important. And next, we have to tackle sound. So say we will continue with our entertainment purpose. Do you have good sound system? Do your neighbors like it? Because no, I'm serious. How your room is located. Is that next to your baby's bedroom? Or maybe it's a separate location in the house. And there are ways to enjoy ourselves without torturing others. There are structural changes that could be done. There are some materials that could be specified to hush that sound down. Or maybe you don't need a loud sound system. Maybe you just need to have multiple conversations in the same room. That means that you need some means to kill that reflection. If the room has just plain walls without soft furnishings, without curtains, without good soft furniture, without rugs, without big chairs, then the sound will tend to reflect from all those hard surfaces, and people will have a hard time maintaining conversations, especially if there are 2, 3 in the same space. So you need to tackle that. And our fourth and most respect aspect of the comfort is budget. You have to respect that. After you've written down all of what I suggested, and I will have that all written in the description of the video, please take a look. You need to say honestly, how much are you willing to spend on all of that? Because, no one is a millionaire nowadays, or not, some are, but you will need to make compromises, because you may want to travel, you may need to allocate in a different venues in your life. The budget for be comfortable entertaining, it's just up to you. So allocate the number, deduct 15% out of it, because you're gonna go over. I've been in the business for long enough to know people tend to go over. There would be unforeseen things. There would be construction difficulties. You will fall in love with this particular light. You gotta have it. It's not in your budget. So deduct the 15% and operate from that. And my advice is create a folder where you start to collect those images of the rooms that speak to you. It would be instrumental to your designer, or maybe to you in the future. And basically, do your homework and your space would be fabulous.